Ice hockey is one of the most beautiful games, but it has its nasty side. Very rarely will you meet a seasoned hockey player with all his teeth. But does all this aggression on the ice have its repercussions? And I'm not talking about broken bones and missing teeth. I'm talking about penalties. Does the amount of penalty minutes have an effect on the amount of goals let in? We will be looking at the correlation between penalty minutes and goals against. First off, what is a penalty? A penalty occurs when a player executes an illegal action. Penalties have different levels of severity. In ice hockey, there are minor penalties. These are the most common penalties. They're given out and will be served for 2 minutes. Some examples of minor penalties are tripping, slashing, hooking, and boarding. These are just some of them. For the most part, they are harmless, but these plays can affect the pace of the game and prevent scoring chances. The next level of severity would be a double minor. These are more dangerous plays and often occur when a player is high-sticked and begins to bleed. These penalties will be served for 4 minutes. The next level of penalty is a major penalty. This occurs when the player who committed the penalty must sit in the box for 5 minutes. The last type of penalty is a coincidental penalty. This occurs when players from opposing teams take penalties of the same duration at the same time. This will not result in a power play for either team. The data was collected from the Ontario Hockey League. This data represents the goals against and the penalty minutes from all 20 teams in the OHL over the past 2 full seasons, 2013-2014 and 2014-2015. There are several significant issues that will affect the data collected. Firstly, the skill of the penalty kill and the skill of the opposing power play, which can be observed by power play percentage and penalty kill percentage. These have huge implications on the data. These extraneous variables are significant because oftentimes the team has very little discipline and takes many penalties. Will have to be better on the penalty kill to remain competitive in the league. There's also lurking variables because the OHL is a semi-professional development league. This means you often see 20-year-old men with a lot of skill playing against 16-year-old kids who are just emerging in the league. Because of this difference in age and skill, you get some teams who are much better than the others. These teams score more goals and disturb the data collected. Looking at the penalty minutes in both years, it's pretty consistent. You have a few outliers coming from very disciplined teams and very reckless teams, but for the most part, you can clearly see that all the teams have a similar amount of penalty minutes. The mean, median, and mode for penalty minutes in 2013-2014 year is 916. The median is 919, and the mode is 940. The most accurate representation of the average of this for the 2013-2014 season is the median, because it's right in the middle of the mean and the mode. The median is not as heavily affected by the outliers as the mean and is more accurate than the mode. The mean, median, and mode for penalty minutes in 2014-2015 season is mean 963, median 1035, and mode 1050 and 1070. Again, I would choose the median in this scenario because it has not been affected by the outliers as much as the mean and offers an accurate representation of the average. Now, taking a look at the goals against in both seasons, it's clear that it appears to be one very good team that does not let in many goals, and then a few very bad teams that let in many goals. The rest of the teams seem to be clumped in the middle. The reason the graphs have these outliers is because of what I mentioned earlier, of how the OHL has a large age difference, and it makes it some teams are very good and others just can't compete. The mean, median, and mode for goals against in the 2013-2014 season is mean 242, median 238, and mode 190 and 240. In this scenario, you could use either the mean or the median because they're so similar. Either will offer you an accurate representation of the data. The mean, median, and mode for goals against in the 2014-2015 season: mean 238, median 237, and modes 200, 260, and 270. The histogram here appears more symmetrical, making it so that you could use either the mean or the median, and it would be an accurate representation of the data. Looking at the scatter plot for 2013-2014 season, you can see that the trend line has a slight negative trend to it. This is because the correlation between penalty minutes and goals against in 2013-2014 was negative 0.0391. The equation of the graph does not do any more justice. The equation tells us that one penalty minute averages negative 0.0984 goals against. However, the 2014-2015 scatter plot tells a different story. The trend line in the scatter plot has a slightly positive, and the correlation between penalty minutes and goals against is 0.1259. The equation of the graph is telling us that one penalty minute will result in 0.336 of a goal. This makes sense because the average penalty kill percentage is around 75%. The hypothesis is incorrect because there shows to be little to no correlation between the amount of penalty minutes and the goals against. This may result from the age difference or skill level, but is probably a result of the fact that penalties are only one part of the game. There's an abundance of other things that can result in goals in the game of hockey. The most appropriate model is a 2014-2015 scatter plot. It shows the correlation is very weak, however it has its limitations. There's a lack of data in the OHL because the OHL only has 20 teams and we're only looking at one season in the scatter plot. So this creates biases. The best possible extension of the research would to look at the NHL. There are more of the teams and the players are fully grown men with lots of skill. It's also not a development league, so the teams will be playing the best players on the ice.